Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, question number 1 is a right triangle, and we want to find one of the missing sides, so we always go with the Pythagorean theorem. Leg squared plus leg squared is hypotenuse squared. So the two legs are x and 15, so x squared plus 15 squared equals. And you know, I didn't do it on this paper, but I should have. Remember I said the other day that the way to identify the hypotenuse is you find the right angle, that's what this little symbol here is, and draw the line straight across. So 17 is the hypotenuse, and then the other two sides have to be the legs. X squared plus 15 squared is 225, 17 squared is 289. And again, that could be a little complicated, except for the fact that you have a calculator. So it's not. Subtract 225 from both sides, square root 64, x is 8. As far as number 2 goes, it's division, so you subtract exponents. So that's 4 to the 8 minus negative 4, and that's circle agar, 4 to the 12th. You could do the 8 minus negative 4 on your calculator also. Choice D. This guy, we're going to move it. It says here 4 units to the right and then down 5. So if I go 4 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That coordinate is 0, negative 4. So the correct answer is A. And then we have scientific notation, and this should be a slam dunk for everybody because we've done this. If we haven't done this 75 to 100 times where we've gone over it since September, I don't know if we've ever done it at all. Multiply coefficients, 32. Add exponents, 10 to the 6th. But remember, it has to be a number between 1 and 10. So I had to divide by 10 here, which means to balance it out, I have to multiply by 10 there. So I got to bring that exponent up 1 to 3.10, or 3.2, I'm sorry, times 10 to the 7th. Any questions? Okay. So this is the first day of the quiz. Then you'll have another quiz tomorrow, which is Thursday, another one Friday, and then you have a test on Wednesday of next week. So there'll be no quizzes on Monday or Tuesday next week. We'll start quizzes up again on Thursday of next week. Okay? All right. Today's lesson sheet. Now, this geometry stuff is unbelievably important. It is all over your state assessment test. It is all over your final exam. Next year in the high school, you take this class called Common Core Algebra that you have to pass to graduate. You don't pass, you don't graduate. But the year after that, they go to the next course, which is a course all about geometry. And obviously, it's going to be more detailed than we covered this year. But most of the work we have covered this year, up until this chapter, has been for next year. This material is actually much more for 2 years from now. Okay? So, who wants to help me out here? What does complementary mean?
90.
2 angles add up to 90. Good. What was your trick for remembering 90?
C is before S.
So the C could turn into a 9. Okay, very good. Next, supplementary.
180.
Very good. 2 angles add up to 180. Alex, you are never allowed out of your desk again without raising your hand and asking permission. Here's the reason why. Because every time you do that, kids take their attention off of me and put it onto you. And I need to know they're paying attention. So I can easily give you a very discrete moment when everybody's working on their problems and not looking up, that you can go over there and get that. And at the same time, they can continue their work without being disturbed. Next. What does congruent mean? Same what? Same size and shape. Very good. Equals is for numbers, like 5 equals 5, or you could solve an equation and say x equals 7 and then check and see that it works. Just as equals is for numbers or equations, congruent is for shapes. If you go out to dinner and you have a really good meal, and it was a great meal, what would you say are some words to describe that great meal? Amazing. What else? How's about delicious? Scrumptious. Supposed to be a great meal. Now, what if you have a friend who's a great kid? Wouldn't you say, hey, that kid's really cool?
Yeah.
But would you say the meal is cool?
No.
No, you'd say the meal is scrumptious, the meal's delicious, the meal's amazing, et cetera, et cetera. So certain words are meant for certain contexts. And the word congruent, the context is always shapes. So I would never say 5 is congruent to 5, or X is congruent to 7. I would never say that. I would say X equals 5, 5 equals 5, X equals 7. I would never say those two shapes are equal. I would say those two shapes are congruent, okay? Next, what are vertical angles? Pretty funny. Vertical does generally mean up and down, but in the case of vertical angles, it means something a little different. It's whenever the angles form an X, whenever two intersecting lines form an X. What does that mean, intersecting lines?
They cross.
They cross, very good. And then it says, what letter do they always form? I just mentioned it a second ago. What do they always form, guys?
Next.
They always form an X. Very good. So this top picture right here, this is a picture of vertical angles. It's two intersecting lines that form an X. And the cool thing about the vertical angles is that we can now begin to apply that to solve for and hopefully get it right. Now, they're vertical angles, so what do we know about these two angles? They're always what?
Always cross.
They cross, yes, but what do we know about their relative sizes? They're the same, very good. And the word for that, because it's a shape, is the word congruent. So I know this guy and this guy have to be equal to each other. So therefore, 4n minus 3 has to equal 6n minus 33. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side?
Opposite.
Opposite side. And it's helpful to remember we always start with the smallest number of n's. You don't have to do it that way, but it is a very sound way. Danger, danger, danger. By the way, I saw a picture of Steve Irwin on Facebook the other day and my heart grew sad. I really do respect the man. I respect anybody who really believes in something and lives their life that way. For instance, I think every person in here knows I can't stand rap. I really
What?
hate rap music with a passion.
Why?
It's annoying.
What would
I
your
really
son
do.
be like hearing
That said, I respect the heck out of some of these rap artists. Some of these guys, I don't like the ones that curse. I don't like the ones that put women down and treat women poorly.
Oh,
But I really like that they see something in their life and they have a way of making it known, and then if they live it out, it's a really, really good thing. You guys know that politically I'm a conservative. I believe in small government. I believe in helping people help themselves because in the long run, that's in their best interest. Now, I happen to love this singer by the name of Bruce Springsteen, and he's a far left liberal. Now, there's certain far left liberals, like, here's one for you, ready? I'm not going to debate the rightness or wrongness of this, let's be perfectly clear. I just want you to see the hypocrisy. We all know that Barack Obama thinks Donald Trump's plan to build a wall is a terrible plan. Do we all know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that Barack Obama is building a wall around his house?
around the what?
He is.
Around his house.
And why is he building that wall? To keep people out. So he can tell the country not to do it, but he can do it. So to me, that's hypocrisy. Another one is this guy, there was this senator years ago by the name of Teddy Kennedy. He's very famous. He was John F. Kennedy's younger brother, Davis. And he used to go around saying that you have to protect the environment, that it's very important to protect the environment, which I agree with. I'm very big on protecting the environment. And then he owned companies that would tuna fish. And what they would do is tuna eat a lot of the same foods that whales eat and dolphins eat. So he would have planes that would fly over the ocean looking for schools of tuna. And as soon as they saw them, they would radio down to these boats with nets. And the boats with nets would come in and sweep up the schools of tuna and wipe them out. So the tuna never had a chance. But if they happened to get sea turtles, if they happened to get dolphins, if they happened to catch young whales in the nets, they could die. Didn't make a difference to them. Yet here he is walking around saying how important it is that we be open and honest. Another example is there's a senator from Minnesota by the name of Al Franken. he went off on a rant the other day, something I happen to, for the most part, agree with. I like public education. Al Franken went out on a rant the other day about how there shouldn't be school vouchers and there shouldn't be public, everybody should go to public education. Do you know that he pays $44,000 per child to put his kids in private school?
Per child?
$44,000 per kid per year to put them in private school, yet he's complaining about it. So to me, those are all examples of hypocrites. Now, those happen to be liberal examples. There are conservatives too. There are many, many conservative politicians who have stood up and said, I'm for family values, I'm for doing things right, and then they go cheat on their wife. So, look, conservatives, liberals, people are hypocrites. It's not just one political party. But I really don't respect people who are hypocritical. And I find in a lot of the rap artists, a lot of people who are worthy of respect. Now, some of them, not so much, because they talk trash about women, they talk bad about girls, and then, if you said that stuff about their daughters, they'd be looking to kill you. They go nuts. So you don't talk about other women like that if you won't talk about your daughter like that. You gotta have a little bit of respect. But I do appreciate that. And I hope that people, even though you may appreciate rap and you may not like rock, I think you can hear certain rock singers and say, hey, that's pretty good. So there's not a level of hypocrisy there. All right, so we were saying this is an opposite side situation. Oh, and the reason I brought it up was Steve Irwin, because I really love the fact that he was not a hypocrite, that he lived his life with the things, Melvin, that he thought were so important in his life. He was just great like that. And what's that? He died, if you remember, he was filming stingrays and stuff, and one of the stingrays came up and stabbed him between the rib cage, and it went right through his, because there's gaps in there, it went through one of the gaps and pierced his heart. He died almost instantly. So, but he's such a respectable individual. I do respect, whether you're a liberal or a conservative, whether you love animals or whatever you do, I love and respect people who say they feel this way about life and then make themselves live their life that way. I think it's just a really, really great quality to have. And then hopefully everybody learns to love their neighbor as they love themselves. And then if you're not a hypocrite and you love others the way you love yourself, then the world is a whole lot of a better place. So that's ultimately where it goes. All right, die. What kind of 3 is that, everybody?
Negative.
So negative 3 equals 6n minus 4n,
2n.
and then minus 33. Now, I got the letters on one side, I gotta get the numbers, so I'm gonna add 33 now.
Oh, wait.
Die. Negative 30 plus 33 is 30, equals 2n.
No, I thought it was 30. No, I mean, cause like negative, I thought it was negative 3 minus 33.
No, because you have to do the opposite, so it's plus 33.
Oh,
Die, n is 15. So the big thing we're doing, or starting to do, is over the next couple of days, we're taking the relationships that we know about, and now we're starting to do some of the equations that we worked with earlier. A couple days ago, we did vertical angles too, but we did them with just numbers. We said, look, if this guy's 110 up here, what's this guy down here? 110. And we said these two were supplementary. If this is 110, what's this guy over here? 70. Good, because they add up to 180. Now, we're doing the same exact ideas, the same concepts, but we are expanding them into new areas. Diagram number 1, what do I know about those two angles?
They add up to 90.
Add up to 90, very good. So let's just do what it says. Add them to get 90. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation? Same side. So same side, same operation. 2n's plus 1n is 3n. Minus 12 is 90. Add 12. Die. 3n is 102. Then I'm going to divide by 3. And n works out to be 34. Good. Okay. So again, we recognize the relationship and we write the equation. Once we write the equation and solve it, it's easy. All right, next up. What do you know about these two angles? They add up to 180. Very good. What's that word for adds up to 180?
Supplementary.
Supplementary. Very good. So therefore, 3n minus 1 plus 2n minus 14 is equal to 180. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation?
Same side.
Same side. 3n's plus 2n's is 5n. Negative 1 and negative 14 is
Negative.
negative 15 equals 180. Add 15 to both sides. Die. 5n equals 195. Divide by 5. N is equal to 39. Okay? What's diagram number 3 a picture of? What kind of angles?
Vertical.
Vertical, very good. So they're gonna be equal to each other. 6n minus 2 equals 3x, or 6x minus 2, I'm sorry, equals 3x plus 25. Opposite side, opposite operation here. Die. 3x minus 2 equals 25. Plus 2. Die. 3x is 9. Divide by 3.
No,
X
it's 27.
is 3.
27.
27, I'm sorry. And then 27 divided by 3 is 9. I went a little fast. That is your daily dumb mistake. I make one every single day.
Daily dumb
Every
mistake.
single day I make a daily dumb mistake. This is the one today. I do it in the homeworks. When I put them up, I always do something stupid. Been doing it my whole life. Don't think it's gonna change anytime soon. Now, any questions? All right, so now we get into word problems. And word problems, for a lot of kids, are more difficult. When you see the picture, you can see, oh, look, there's the X, they're vertical, they're equal. Oh, look, that's half a circle in number 2. They're gonna be 180. This guy makes a right angle, they're gonna be 90. And then we get to word problems. And word problems you can't see. And because you can't see them as easily, most kids struggle a little more with word problems. But if we remember, early in the year we started word problems, we said, let's underline the important stuff. 2 supplementary angles, ratio of 2 to 3. So, as soon as you see ratio, 2x, 3x. It's supplementary, so 2x plus 3x is 180. Same side, same operation. 5x is 180. Divide by 5. X is 36. Okay? It says find the measure of the largest angle, or the degrees in the largest angle. That's the 3 guy. So 3x means 3 times 36, which is 108. Questions?
No.
Okay. Next one, 2 angles are complementary. One angle's 20 more than the other. So when it talks about 2 angles, first angle, second angle. And you know, yesterday I mentioned it, but you know, if I ever get kicked to the curb and find myself a free agent in the world of love, free agent. So my wife kicks me out of the house and says, you're done. I don't want this
Why?
anymore.
What you're saying?
No, I don't know, but let's say she does. I am going after Mary and Beth in that problem that I wrote years ago from I should say, back early in the year when I said Mary and Beth go fly fishing in Alaska. Those are my kind of woman.
Okay.
Fly fishing in Alaska. It doesn't get a whole lot better than that. Outdoorsy. Put the fly rod in the hand. Oh, and if she loves Central Asian Shepherds. Dude, I'm recording this. Don't tell my wife.
Are you recording this?
I am.
Okay, so you just.
All right, X. Second and 2 complementary, one angle's 20 more than the other. The other one is X plus 20. Now, the reason I bring up Mary and Beth is that was a problem where we said Mary caught 20 more fish than her sister, or something like 20 more than twice the number of fish. And we had to set it up, Mary and Beth. This time we set it up, first angle, second angle. Together they are complementary. So I add them, and what do I get? Come on, what's complementary mean, guys? Adds up to 90, good. Same side, same operation, 2x plus 20 equals 90. Minus the 20, die. 2x is 70, dividing by 2. X is, that's right, 35 is correct. Okay? Now, to me, that do it is an excellent do it, because it really does test pretty much every kind of thing that we have learned so far in the material. Now we get to the guts of today's lesson. And we started yesterday talking about 2 parallel lines. Here they are. Parallel means they go on forever and ever and don't touch. And they're cut by a transversal. That's the line that's going across at an upward angle there. Fill in all the missing values. those missing values on the diagram. Remember, we're gonna do that,
Copy and paste.
drag and drop, right? Copy and
Copy, paste, drag and drop.
Yep, same thing. All right, now. Ava, what's this guy?
102.
Nice. Frankie, what's this guy? Candace, help him out. 78. What's this guy over here? 78. Okay. Now, I'm gonna take the whole thing, I'm gonna highlight the whole thing. Take this guy, drag it, drop it right there. What's this guy?
102.
102. What's this guy?
78.
What's this guy?
102.
And what's this guy?
78.
Those angles that land on top of each other, we call those corresponding angles. The word to correspond means to match up. So they match up with each other, so we call them corresponding angles. What do we call them?
Corresponding.
Good, Davis?
How did you get 78?
Because together they have to add up to 180 because they have a circle. Right? All right. Now. What's that?
That was weird.
You do that. Go. Don't pack up, Ava.
No, I'm not packing up.
You
Just
do
keep my-
solve it?
Find all the missing angles, just like the one above it.
Okay.
Okay. What's this guy? This guy?
109. 9.
9.
Drag and drop.
109.
109.
Nice. Any questions about that? Okay. Now we kick it to the next level.
Whoa. Oh.
I have a question. Are those two angles equal?
Yeah.
Are those two angles supplementary? Here's how you can tell. Is this angle with a 5x minus 1? Oh. Is that an acute angle or an obtuse angle?
Cute.
Acute. Is this angle an acute or an obtuse angle? Acute. In this diagram, all the acute angles equal each other. So, 5x minus 1 equals 2x plus 26, and you solve the resulting equation exactly the same way we did the do it questions. Okay? Opposite side, opposite operation, work your way through it.
So what about the other one?
Well, if I asked you for them, I would get them, but now I change and I ask you for x. And you can stop at that point, once you get, well, you gotta go all the way through and find x. In this problem, x works out to be 9. And that would be it. And just to show you that 9 works, 5 times 9 is 45, minus 1 is 44. And 2 times 9 is 18, plus 26 is 44. So the two angles would work out to be the same size. Yes? All right, this side of the room, calculators.
You went last time.
Yeah, I know.
Just like I wonder.
Next side.